Hey, let's talk about the upcoming Coinbase listing on Nasdaq. Listing date should be April 14th, the day that Coinbase wants to list their Class A shares. The question is it worth to invest in those stocks, or is it already overvalued and overhyped? So here is the Coinbase announcement basically saying they're going to list on Nasdaq, they're going to list on April 14th. The ticker symbol will be Coin. So how can you buy the Coinbase stock? Well, it's a direct listing, so you basically have to wait until April 14th. At that time, you can log in at your usual broker and search for the ticker symbol Coin and then simply buy it. There are some pre-market trades, but I would strongly recommend not to participate in those because you might end up like paying way too much for those shares at the moment. The listing of Class A was declared by the SEC effective on April 1st already. That's basically, oh yeah, and you can get the information on the Edgar side of the SEC website. So what's the difference between Class A and Class B shares? Well, with Class A shares, you basically only have like one vote per share. Meanwhile, for Class B shares, you would have a vote of 20 votes per share. And of course, the holders of our outstanding Class B common stocks will hold 99% the voting power of the outstanding capital stock. And yeah, so basically for the Class A shares, they almost have no voting power. Before I continue, please know that this is no financial advice of any kind, so please invest at your own risk. I'm only expressing my personal opinion here, and I might buy some of those stocks or might not. I haven't decided yet, so please make up your own mind. So Class B common stock will hold 99% of the voting power, and if you look into who's actually holding the majority of the Class B shares, then you're gonna see that most of them belongs to the directors, executive officers, and 5% stockholders. They hold together 60.5% of the voting power, meaning that you as a Class A or all Class A shares together will never have the voting majority in Coinbase, which is a problem because usually the stockholders should have the majority of the voting powers and not the executive directors. It's actually quite interesting to scroll through this document. Here's the table of the latest stock price targets. So they range somewhere between $200 and $400. The weighted average was somewhere around 300, I think 50 or $345. They have quite an excessive equity incentive plan. In the end, that's going to be paid by you as the shareholder with the price that you pay once the Class A shares are listed. Quite interesting to see the cap table. Some of them here are names that you've probably heard before, like Andreessen Horowitz. Paradigm was somewhere down here, and also Union Square Ventures. Those are the usual names that you see in ventures like that. Another interesting part to see is how many stockholders they have currently on record. For the Class A shares, they have around 430 stockholders. Class B, another 430 stockholders. The Class A stockholders had like 40 million shares roughly, with a weighted average exercise price of only $21. It even goes lower than that. It goes to $5.3 for some of the Class A exercise prices. They also used some of their stocks to pay for acquisitions, like for the Tagomi Holdings Inc., where they had an exercise price of only 5.26. And always keep in mind that the current price for those Class A shares are currently hovering around $350 up to $400. Regarding dividend rights, Class A and Class B shareholders are entitled to receive their dividends, and shares of Class A and Class B will be treated equally, stated here. All media outlets basically cover the same information here, that Coinbase had approximately 43 million retail users at the end of 2020 across 100 countries, that they have 2.8 million transacting users, and by now they're profitable. But of course, I mean, if you ever worked for a stock listed company, you know that it's also a bit about window dressing. So before you list your company on any kind of exchange, you want to make sure that your numbers are looking good. So the question is, how does Coinbase justify its high valuation? Basically, what Coinbase makes money with is the spread between the buy and sell prices for cryptocurrencies, their Coinbase fee, their 2% conversion fee between cryptocurrencies, some fee to sell collateral against US dollar loans, and some really hefty 25% 10% commission on staking services. And on top of that, Coinbase also has its own venture arm where they invest in some pretty well-known crypto ventures. The valuation lies somewhere between 39 billion up to 100 billion. It really depends what kind of shares you take into consideration. If you take into consideration the fully diluted shares, then you might come up with a market capitalization of around 100 billion. The problem is a little bit that those shares are being treated already on private markets. That's how they come up with those high capitalizations. And the question though is, will those high prices sustain once Coinbase listed their A shares? In my opinion, I think there's such a hype and such a fear of missing out that those prices should actually skyrocket. So I'm planning to buy some of those shares. I probably don't put all my money in it. I first will buy some and maybe wait a day or two in order to see where the prices will go, and then might buy more or sell them. It's a really volatile stock, I think, but we will see. I mean, none of us can look into the future, to market capitalization. In the worst case scenario, the multiple would be up to 27. In the best case scenario of 11. 11 is still high for a normal company, but for a fast growing company, 11 is pretty low. But again, it really depends where the crypto market goes to. And in my opinion, 1.9 billion is definitely possible. We are almost there. Question is, can it maintain that momentum? And that's where I'm a little bit more critical. I think it might go up to, or even over to 2 billion by the end of 2021, but I don't think it's really sustainable. I think that there's going to be a crash either way towards the end of 2021 or beginning next year. And of course, it's also going to affect Coinbase's market price. Once we see a crash, we also see a lot of people, especially the beginners and those who have only been in the crypto market for the last year, for the last bull run, they will definitely panic and get out of the market, and it's going to hurt Coinbase and their revenue stream. Another thing to consider is that Coinbase had its fair share of customer experience issues, with people not being able to trade the way they wanted, or some of their transfers not going through, and so on. I mean, right now, right before the listing, Coinbase does its best to apologize and to be quite transparent about it. They probably have to, because I mean, they want to list their shares on Nasdaq, but it's to be seen how Coinbase really tackles those issues in the future. On the other side, I think Coinbase is one of the exchanges who try to work really close with the regulators. So we all know how Coinbase basically makes money, but we don't know how much Coinbase is really worth. I think it's slightly overvalued, but does it really change the fact that people are gonna go and buy that stock the moment it's listed? And in my opinion, I think everybody will run and rush into that share the moment it's listed. So I don't really care how much it's worth right now, because the only thing that counts right now is how many people rush into that share once it's listed. And I think that momentum will be there. So like I said, I will probably buy a few of those shares and see what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna go up straight away, but then at some point might consolidate a bit. One thing that a lot of people don't have on their radar or not aware about is that Coinbase is not the biggest crypto exchange out there. Biggest crypto exchange by far is Binance, but Binance doesn't have any plans so far to do their own IPO or their own private direct listing. So if you visit CoinGecko and you saw the biggest exchanges by the 24-hour volume, you'll be surprised to see that, yeah, Binance of course is on top, but then you have a lot of other exchanges before you even go to see Coinbase. So Coinbase is somewhere down here with only 1.8 billion in volume per 24 hours. There are a lot of other exchanges before that. Also, if you sort by visits, it's also first Binance, then eToro, Kraken, and then you have Coinbase Pro on the 5th place. Now, one thing where Coinbase can definitely grow is like in the coins listed on their website. Currently, they have like around 54, I think 60 coins. I mean, if you compare it to Binance, then you know why Binance is so popular, because Binance has above 300 coins. But keep in mind that we're talking about Binance.com here, not Binance US. The Binance US website is also a lot more restricted than the Binance.com website. Yeah, and here's another interesting fact. Coinbase is probably one of the first crypto exchanges to be listed on a major exchange. But there are others coming forward too, trying to raise some money or making money One of them is Kraken, and as we just saw, Kraken is one of the biggest ones. It's even bigger than Coinbase. Kraken is right up there together with Coinbase when it comes to the trust score, also the 24-hour volume. They're not so far behind Coinbase, and they even have slightly more coins that you can trade on their website. And they have a much higher, or not much higher, but they have a higher visit on their website than Coinbase does. So there are quite a few more exchanges that might take the same route in Coinbase when it comes to stock listings, which might affect Coinbase's price in the near future. I could imagine that if Kraken or one of the other big crypto exchanges are announcing their listings, that this might negatively affect Coinbase's stock price. And of course, as you can see here, you have a lot more crypto exchanges than just Coinbase, which means that their fees will probably be reduced too. So the question is, can Coinbase maintain their margin, maintain their fees? I mean, I think they're in a pretty good position at the moment because a lot of the beginners who are joining the crypto market for the first time, they usually go to Coinbase first because it's a really intuitive platform, quite easy, and then later they jump to Binance or to other platforms. But the more mature the market will be, the more mature the market participants will be, I think the harder it's going to be for Coinbase to maintain their higher fees and to maintain their customers. So yeah, that's basically it. Like I said before, I'm not giving any financial advice here, so please invest at your own risk. I will buy some of those stocks the moment it's listing, but I might then wait to see how the stock is reacting and sell or buy more, depending on the stock price and on the momentum. So good luck. Please let me know in the comments if you plan to buy some of the Coinbase stocks, or if you don't, please let me know why you think it's too risky or why you don't want to spend your money on a Coinbase stock. I hope I could help you a little bit at least. If you like information like that, then please subscribe to my channel. Please also watch my previous videos about Wabi coin. I think that's a really good coin to invest in. So please check it out, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.